Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something absolutely fascinating. We are unpacking a profound mystery that literally sits at the bedrock of the Islamic faith, the mechanics of divine communication. If you're gearing up for an Islamic studies exam, or honestly, if you're just really curious about how the Creator actually speaks to creation, you're in the exact right place. We're going to take the complex theology of Wahy, or divine revelation, and break it down into super clear, actionable insights for your review. Let's get into it. Real quick, let's just map out our study path. We're going to start with an introduction to Wahy, nail down the literal and technical definitions, and then explore the four primary methods of revelation. After that, we'll categorize it all into recited and unrecited forms, and finally see how this entire concept acts as the ultimate foundation of the faith. Section 1. Introduction to Wahy. So, as you sit down to prep for your exam, you've got to start with this massive foundational question. How exactly does the Creator communicate his will? I mean, does he speak to everyone directly? Is he just shouting down from the heavens? Well, no. Actually, the divine way is way more specific than that. The Lord of the worlds doesn't typically speak to his servants in a standard face-to-face manner. Instead, he uses a very specific, sacred medium. And the core proof for this is found right in the Qur'an itself. It states, "And it is not for any human being that Allah should speak to him except by revelation, or from behind a partition, or that he sends a messenger." This verse is an absolute must-have for your notes, guys. It establishes the absolute necessity of Wahy, because without this specific mechanism in place, humanity would literally be completely in the dark about the divine command. It's the ultimate lifeline. Okay, moving on to section 2, literal and technical definitions of Wahy. Let's start with the literal meaning. In the Arabic language, the root word for Wahy is incredibly broad. We're talking about gesturing, writing, giving a message, a sudden flash of inspiration, or even just speaking secretly to someone. Basically, from a purely linguistic standpoint, it covers any form of rapid, subtle, or hidden communication between two parties. It's kind of like a secret code or a quick whisper. But, and this is a big but, for your exams, you need to know the technical Sharia definition. While the literal word could just mean a secret whisper between you and a friend, the technical terminology narrows Wahy down strictly to the divine word. Specifically, the divine word sent exclusively to the prophets for the ultimate purpose of guiding creation. So literal is broad, technical is highly specific. Make sure you highlight that distinction. All right, section 3. The four primary methods of revelation. Now pay close attention here, because you will absolutely need to memorize these four primary methods of revelation for your test. First up, hearing an unseen voice. This is where a prophet hears a voice but literally cannot see the speaker. It's exactly the kind of awe-inspiring moment Prophet Musa or Moses experienced on Mount Tor. Second is a thought arising in the heart completely on its own, with zero sound. This is a direct, undeniable insertion of knowledge into the prophet's heart, which academics often call ilham or ilka. Third on the list, seeing a true dream. The source texts make it super clear that prophetic dreams aren't just wild imagination. They are absolute, literal revelation. Think of Prophet Yusuf seeing the stars, sun, and moon bowing to him. And finally, number 4, an angel appearing in human form to actually deliver the message. This was by far the most common method for how the Qur'an was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, usually through the angel Jibril. Got all 4? Awesome. To really see how this played out in history, we can look at a fascinating anecdote from Sahih al-Bukhari. It tells us that Prophet Muhammad's very first experiences with Wahy didn't just start with majestic angels suddenly appearing. Actually, it began with true dreams. The texts state that he wouldn't see any dream in his sleep except that it would manifest in reality as clearly as bright daylight. It's pretty amazing, right? And it shows us that those 4 methods we just talked about were utilized at very different times for different purposes throughout his entire life. Next up, section 4, recited and unrecited revelation. So for your exams, you've got to know how to distinguish between the 2 main categories of revelation, and this is based entirely on recitation. On one side, we have Wahy Matlu, which literally translates to recited revelation. You might also see it called Wahy Jali, meaning clear or manifest. Now, this category is strictly the Holy Qur'an, the exact, unaltered, verbatim words of Allah that are meant to be actively recited during worship. Now, contrast that with Wahy Gair Matlu, the unrecited revelation. This is also known as Wahy Khafi or hidden revelation. This side of the equation encompasses the hadith and the sunnah, so the meanings and the divine guidance are absolutely from God, but the specific wording or phrasing, that comes from the prophet himself. Now, you might be wondering, does one rank higher than the other when it comes to obedience? Well, this quote right here gives us a definitive answer. The Prophet stated, "Beware, I have been given the Qur'an and, with it, something similar to it." He's referring directly to the Sunnah. So, what's the big takeaway? Following both forms is strictly obligatory. The source material hits this point hard. You literally cannot accept the recited Qur'an while tossing aside the unrecited Sunnah. True, complete obedience to God is just impossible without obedience to the messenger. They're a package deal.
Finally, Section 5, Foundation of the Faith.
Okay, bringing it all together, the major concept you need to grasp here is that Wahy is the absolute root of the entire religion. Think about it. It's the sole mechanism that brought down the 4 great heavenly books, the Torah, the Psalms, the Gospel, and the Qur'an. It's the only way prophets are ever appointed. It is the literal source of Sharia law, dictating everything from our daily pillars of worship all the way to complex commerce. Without Wahy, human intellect is honestly just guessing in the dark. But with it, we have a concrete, perfectly guided system for all of life. Knowing that literally every single teaching, every command, and every fundamental duty in Islam hinges completely on this divine link, well, it leaves us with a pretty critical question to think about as we wrap up our review today. If Wahy is the single, only mechanism through which the Creator guides his creation, how deeply are we actually striving to understand the revelation that was sent down for us? Something to think about. Good luck with your studying.